understand that, we've got a job to do and we got to go out there and do it.
I look forward to, this stretch up ahead of trying to, play at such a level that, it's a much different story as we finish the season than how we started.
We let some games slip, but you see guys getting better. You see guys attacking the moment. You're seeing guys just locking in. I think, it can only go up from here.
Brought to you by Miller Lite and Luther Auto. And now, to kick off your NFL weekend, this is Vikings Live.
Well, the Vikings are back to work this week and coming back to face the Pack on Sunday. The rivalry is renewed for the second time this season between the Vikings and Packers, and we're here to preview it all starting on Vikings Live. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Along with Ron Johnson and Courtney Cronin, I'm Hobie Artigue, and I'm sure there are a lot of people hoping that the bye week did the Vikings some good as they try to come back with a lot of work to do. 10 games still to play after that 1-5 start. And if the Vikings are going to make a move, Courtney, you have to think it's got to be right now.
Yeah, and you bring up the bye week and the timing of it, Hobie. Obviously not great for injuries. They didn't come out of the bye very healthy. The Vikings were down 4 corners in practice today, including the recently signed corner Chris Jones, not the defensive tackle Chris Jones. And as you enter this stretch of their final 10 games, you really got to hope that there are things that they saw, that they're correctable mistakes from the first 6 games of the season that they can carry over. The interceptions that Kirk Cousins had in those 6 games, 10, that is tied for the most in the NFL right now. They're correctable mistakes from that, though. Mike Zimmer talked about it. Kirk Cousins talked about it. Now we're going to be able to see if that can actually carry over and if this offense can actually carry the defense, which was the hope when they started out the season week 1.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing about the bye week, and like Courtney says, injuries. When 4 corners are down, honestly, now the offense just say, we got to score. Because it's going to we know what Aaron Rodgers can do. Last time he went against a rookie and Chris Cook a long time ago with the Vikings, he torched him. 170 yards, I think, in like the first quarter. So he's going to go after these corners.
And Courtney, you mentioned Kirk Cousins. He's had ups and downs this year, no question about it. But against Green Bay, he posted his 2nd highest passer rating of the season. I have to ask you, too, what did he do so well in that opener that he can build on? But also, I think he needs to keep it consistent, too. That's something the offense and he did not do in week 1, Ron.
Yeah, when you look at interceptions as a whole, what he's doing well is odd. I mean, the top 4 teams as far as interceptions, I guess, are the worst 4. You look at the Patriots, you look at the Broncos, and then the Vikings. What those teams are showing you right now is that they're just letting the ball go. But Kirk Cousins actually has an 88 passer rating compared to the other guys who are in the 60s. So he's doing some good things. He just has to not make those boneheaded mistakes, like they say, throwing the first drive. You can't throw a pick to the linebacker. You change that, you change a lot of what's going on right now.
Yeah, and the big thing, I think, Hobie, just jumping in on that, Mike Zimmer talked about predetermining routes potentially, maybe it's some of his footwork. And when we ask Kirk, is there a common theme among your interceptions? It's maybe sometimes going too much for the home run play. Like, they've been a really explosive offense. They've, as Kirk said, they've hit triples, they've hit home runs, but they haven't hit enough of the singles and the doubles. So I don't know if he's pulling in a World Series analogy there, but, I think that is part of it. And like Ron said, if you throw an interception on the first play of the game, that's going to be a momentum killer. So not doing those things, being able to kind of, flush all of that, be able to have the offense respond to you every time you come back onto the field after a mistake like that is going to help this team march in the right direction.
Also, the Vikings have changed their offense in a good way because Justin Jefferson has really emerged. He was quiet in that first game of the season, but his play right now, it really speaks volumes. Courtney, how vital do you think he'll be to this passing game and getting things going just for the team as a whole?
I mean, I think it's going to be huge, but listen to what Matt LaFleur's saying, that, yeah, he has the potential, if he's not already, to be a number 1 receiver. Well, what does that mean? That means that he's going to be getting bracket coverage. He's probably going to have 2 guys on him in man coverage. They're going to try to take him away. So Adam Thielen, honestly, could be the more open receiver in this game because Jefferson has shown that he can hang with the big boys at a very early stage of his NFL career, and I think that teams have taken notice. So going into the second half of the season, see how he's able to adjust to what teams are throwing at him from the coverage standpoint. That was the big thing in 1998, Randy Moss's rookie season, how he was able to essentially learn on the fly as teams were learning him on the fly how to handle NFL defenses.
Yeah, with Justin Jefferson, though, what you see is patience. Like Courtney said, he's stepping up in a big role where a lot of rookies aren't. And theoretically, I know a lot of teams like the Eagles right now are just upset they didn't draft the kid, but his patience, his route running, and Kirk trusts him. And I think you see that throw right there. Those are 50-50 balls, and he's making it more 80-20. So watch for Justin Jefferson now when he's double covered. Sometimes Kirk's going to give him a ball, just like he did with Stephon Diggs. Justin's going to have to continue to build on that relationship and that trust because you don't want to regress down the stretch.
And the Vikings also didn't run the ball necessarily well against the Packers in Week 1. Didn't get Dalvin Cook that many touches in that game. Dalvin looks like he's going to be preparing to play on Sunday. But this time around, you have to think that he's going to be getting a few more looks instead of just the 12 carries he got in that first meeting, Ron.
Yeah, I'm going to use a baseball analogy since we're talking World Series. Pitch count. You need to put Dalvin Cook on a pitch count. Do not just go out there and think he can get it done. The one thing we've seen is when Madison is the backup, Madison is good. The Seahawks game showed that. Let Dalvin Cook kind of get going, maybe a couple carries, but then let Madison come in and finish the dirty work off. That's when he's really good, when he's kind of the Dalvin Cook comes in and then he just pounds it through the rest of the way. They cannot let Dalvin go 26 to 29 carries because that groin is still just healing. Pitch count.
Courtney, you think that's what to be expected too on Sunday?
Well, I asked Gary Kubiak about that today, and he said that there was nothing specifically in practice that would indicate he needs to be on a pitch count, but he's going to leave that up to Kennedy Palomalu. He knows Dalvin better than anybody on this team. But that's probably what the coaches are saying, but I think in reality, Ron's probably right on that. You're going to need to spell Dalvin Cook at certain points. He's certainly going to start the game if he is indeed going to be able to play, but that groin injury is something he's never dealt with before. He talked about how he used the bye week to heal and just kind of let it rest. You don't want to tweak that again and be out and miss more time because you might see games where they don't cross over 30, 40 yards rushing like they did against Atlanta.
Well, that Vikings defense could potentially have some big changes against the Packers, too, especially in the secondary. Here's the injury report from today. Mike Hughes, Holden Hill, both out for a second straight practice, and also Cam Dantzler on the COVID-19 reserve list. Ron, you mentioned it at the top of the show. Aaron Rodgers really picked apart that defense the last time with young players on the field. Now it could be the exact same thing all over again with a new group out there. What's going to be the key for this secondary trying to slow down one of the best quarterbacks to ever do it with even more inexperience on the field?
Well, don't let him play whack-a-mole, which means if you stick your head up and you're in the wrong spot, he is going to whack you. He's going to take a shot. So when these guys are in cover 4, line up where you're supposed to be. If Aaron Rodgers sees anything that he likes, Devontae Adams man-to-man, Scanlon with a guy that he doesn't even recognize, Hand. Everybody said that when they saw Harrison Hand get in the game. So if he sees a guy or a matchup he likes, we know Aaron's going to utilize moving Harrison, Smith, and Harris out the way so he can take advantage of that because he trusts all his receivers. He doesn't care who he's going to, and that's the difference right now in what Aaron Rodgers is doing in this offense. He's not picking one specific guy, so all these DBs, no matter who's in, they have to come ready to play.
Yeah, and I'm just going to be honest with you, Hobie. They're down to Chris Boyd, Harrison Hand, and Jeff Gladney. And Gladney has the highest passer rating allowed of any cornerback with at least 20 targets. That's 140.3 as the nearest defender in coverage. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is going to be an uphill battle. Devontae Adams almost put up 200 yards receiving on Houston last weekend. Good luck to the Vikings corners out there. I mean, that is definitely a tough task. And we saw, the growing pains they had early on in Week 1 against Green Bay. You'd like to think that there are tangible things that you can take away from that game to think that they might be better this time around, but still, uphill battle.
Well, Courtney, the secondary once again depleted, but you know how it goes. Next man up. But the offense will hopefully be bolstered with that return of Dalvin Cook. Dawn Mitchell joins us. And Dawn, it does look like it's all systems go for number 33.
It does look like good news, and it seems that Dalvin is ready to go at full capacity out in Green Bay, just like we heard Courtney talk about. Dalvin, as we know, sitting out the last 2 games with that adductor strain in his groin. And while Gary Kubiak says that he does leave it up to running backs coach Kennedy Palomalu if he will be used on a snap count, indications are he most likely won't, but we will see.
Practice to me the past 2 days hasn't indicated that should be the case. I mean, he's worked his load and practiced well, but Kennedy knows him better than anybody, and so we'll see where it goes. But you know, how Dalvin goes, we normally go. So obviously we got to get him going and get him back to work.
Hopefully Cook can once again help to open up the passing game as well. Kirk Cousins has been working with Gary and Clint Kubiak to clean up his turnover mistakes. And Adam Thielen says there's no one more mentally strong than Cousins.
If you ask anybody in this locker room of why we have so much faith in him and trust in him, is because he never gets down. You know, whether someone's talking bad about him or what have you. You know, he doesn't really care. He's going to do his job to the best of his ability. He's going to prepare to the best of his ability.
I saw a quote from him this week that, hey, I want to get out of this place I'm in right now. I want to play better, and I see that. You know, he's very committed to what he's doing. He's had 2 good days this week. We got another day before we go down there. It's obviously a very good defense we're playing against, but Kirk has got his mind in the right place and his work habits are good. So hopefully we can continue to get better around him, and he'll play better as well.
On defense, it will be a combined effort, especially at corner, to stop Aaron Rodgers and company. Up front, Jalen Holmes makes his first career start in place of the traded Yannick Ngakoue.
I mean, it's definitely a blessing. I just feel like since I've been here, I tried to prepare myself every day like I'm already a starter, but it's definitely a blessing. I'm excited. My family's excited. So it's definitely an opportunity for me and for myself and my family. I just got to do my job so we can get the dub. That's the most important thing of everything.
Jay's done well this year. You know, he gives us a different element. He's a big body. And, so playing over there at left defensive end, he can do a good job of handling tight ends in the run game. He's physical against tackles. He throws his body around. So he gives us a different element than all the other ends that we have.
So, Hobie, indeed, he is a bigger end for sure, but he still is making his first NFL start. He's getting that next step up as well. So, just like Courtney said, no sugarcoating. The defense has their work cut out for them and then some in Green Bay. Back to you.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when you watch the way the Packers have played over the last few games on a path to win the division again this year. Had that one bad game against Tampa Bay. But, Ron, aside from that, they've looked pretty great. How much stronger do the Packers look now compared to that Week 1 matchup?
Well, the Week 1 matchup, I would go back to coaching. I think when the season started, we were questioning the LaFleur-Rodgers relationship. Now it looks great because Aaron's winning and he's happy. So I think that's what's stronger to me. I think the team was always good. Now he trusts what's going on in the building.
Yeah, I picked the Packers to win the division back preseason, and that was knowing that Aaron Rodgers had one weapon, essentially. I mean, I wasn't including MVS or Equanimeous St. Brown or Alan Lazard, who was he just came back to practice this week. So as we get towards the trade deadline, when I'm thinking of teams that might want to trade for a wide receiver because they have a chance to make a very deep postseason run, I think it's this Packers team. And, with the record that they have right now and all that they've shown in the first half of the season, everything kind of indicates to me that that's the direction things are going.
Ron, Aaron Rodgers playing some great football right now. Last week he played without Aaron Jones. A little more expected of that arm in that game against the Texans, but he showed up early and often in that game as we break down some of his plays.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is a guy that wants to get ahead of the sticks. He doesn't like to be in third and long, and we know that. So what you're going to see is here's just a bubble screen. But the bubble screen, he has a two-way option. If they bite, he's going to throw the bubble, but the safety or the corner sits. He's getting it out of his hand quick. The ball was out of his hand before the receiver was before him. Here is just crossing route, and you're putting the safety in a bind. Both guys technically could get the ball. Wherever the safety chooses, he's going opposite, and that's just Aaron Rodgers using his eyes to make the guy miss.
And, Courtney, the Packers defense, they're picking up right where they left off last year. That front, quite formidable, and once again, it starts with Zadarius Smith.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's caused the Vikings problems for a couple seasons now. So I think the big thing that you look at here when we take a look at the tape from the Houston game is just how they utilize Smith on a bunch of stunts. I mean, right here you're going to see a balanced formation from Houston. And the specific one we're looking at, it's a twist. They're going for the guard tackle game. So you're going to try to move Zadarius Smith inside so he's on your worst blocker. In that case, it's the Houston left guard. So certainly something that they want to keep an eye on for against the Vikings game. And obviously in this one here, the big thing that you don't see in this play specifically is Kenny Clark. They finally got him back going into this game, and that's going to be something that's huge because the Packers haven't been great over the last few weeks in goal-to-go situations. So I think that that's going to be something the Vikings are going to need to be prepared for. But realistically, they were not bad at that the first week that they played Green Bay in Week 1.
Also, the Packers have averaged 30-plus points a game this year, also taking care of the ball, too. Only 2 giveaways all season long. That's currently the best in the NFL. Still much more to come on Vikings Live, including this week's player spotlights. Eric Kendricks, he's been a consistent part of that defense, and he'll join Paul Allen coming up right after this.
You're watching Vikings Live. Brought to you by Miller Lite and Luther Auto.
Since he's been in the league, Eric Kendricks has led the Vikings in tackles every year. He leads the NFL with 48 solo tackles this season, on pace for 128. That would be the most for any player in a season since 2007. But there's a bigger challenge to tackle right now, trying to help his team overcome this start. PA has more with EK in this week's Player Spotlight.
Hobie Artigue, thank you very much. Our man in the middle is Eric Kendricks, having another fantastic season, joining us on Vikings Live for the Miller Lite Player Spotlight. Aaron Rodgers this weekend, very tough challenge, but you like tough challenges, don't you?
I do. That's what the game's all about. And I feel like, ever since my rookie year, when I realized what the NFL was about, that's what was so fun to me. The new challenges, week to week. Everyone changes the game plan, different schemes, different formations every year. So it's just a new challenge.
Now, Eric, you legitimately being one of the best pass covering linebackers in the entire NFL. For a player like you and the position you play, where does Aaron put the most stress on that whole situation?
Honestly, I think that the fact that he can just obviously make all the throws in tight windows, but it's definitely when he extends the plays, out of the pocket. It takes your normal coverage. Maybe you have something covered initially, and then they just start running made-up routes, and you got to chase them all over the field. And I feel like that's where he excels.
Now, I know you strive for consistency, especially every single season. But with this season, no matter the record, is it a little more important to you to be even better, not simply to improve year by year, but you were first team All-Pro last year? That's like the ultimate in league cred. So is that something you think about that motivates you just a little more?
Not at all. Obviously, like last year is last year, and this year's new year. But I feel like internally, I have my own goals and motivation, and I go out there every week with with a chip on my shoulder, trying to prove myself. And I try not to take it for granted. The opportunity to be out there and play. So, I really just want to embrace the challenge and get better every day.
Now, with injuries that you guys have had this year and youth all over the place, stuff like that, no fans at the games, I mean, hopefully you never see anything like this again the rest of your career, right?
Yeah, but in the same breath, there's always going to be something one way or another. You always got to deal with adversity throughout the season. I remember 5 years ago, our airplane got stranded on the runway or something like that, and that was something that I couldn't have even fathomed then. So it's just you got to roll with the punches.
Yeah, and I mean, this is complete narrowcasting. It's going to take 15 seconds. Hopefully, at least one person knows what I'm talking about. When that plane was stranded in Appleton and one of the options was like climbing a ladder down the side of the plane, Dr. Sheldon Burns. I mean, are you kidding me with this? I mean, we got to take off and land again. So anyway, you know what I'm talking about with that, right?
Yeah.
So what impresses you with Eric Wilson's game and his improvement trajectory?
His focus, obviously, people are always ready for the games and focused for the games, but I feel like he takes it to another level. He's been so locked in this whole year. He's been on a mission, a man on a mission. I feel like it's definitely shown in the way he's been playing. He's had to step up, obviously, for us, but he never wavered from that. He accepted the challenge, and now we're seeing a little bit more of him and what he brings to the table, and what kind of player he is.
EK, tell us about All Square and why is that Minneapolis charity so important to you?
So All Square is an organization that I was blessed with the opportunity of meeting about a year ago, and didn't think anything of it really when I went into it, and went there, met the people, heard their stories. It's an organization that gives work to people who have been formerly incarcerated, and not only does it provide them with a job, it helps them find homes, it helps them deal with lawyers in the probation trap, and it gives them business experience, so they can go out in the real world and pursue their dreams, and just sitting down with these people and hearing their stories and learning so much. I'm still learning, as far as it goes, and the organization is wonderful, and they're truly unselfish, and I feel like that's what draws me to them, and that's what draws our organization to them.
And it's unselfish of you to tie yourself to that or anything, so thank you for that. And they have a craft grilled cheese shop. Are you kidding me? Can I get a 4 cheese with an orange soda right now?
And some French fries, too.
Hey. It looks so good, I'll eat it with a mask, man. I was like, go up underneath,
No doubt. And, right now, I feel like, obviously restaurants are, it's a little bit different, so they definitely are doing pickup at this time. So,
yeah.
Make sure you go check them out and get some food.
Yeah, I think my hair has gotten as long as yours. Let's check it out real quick because we can see yours. See? I'm catching you. Hobie, save the show, Hobie. Thank you, Eric. Good luck this weekend.
No problem. See ya.
See ya.
Oh, love the flow, PA. Awesome. All right, still much more to come on Vikings Live. We give you our Vikings keys to victory for the Packers game and take a look at Thursday Night Football. That's coming up next on Vikings Live.
to Vikings Live. Brought to you by Miller Lite and Luther Auto.
Well, the Vikings and Packers square off on Sunday, and for more on that big matchup, Paul Allen has more in his Words Eye View.
All right, Hobie, still trying to get this hair right for that Eric Kendricks piece, but the Words Eye View into the game at Lambeau is taking most of us, if not all of us, back to when we were children. And let's play a kids game Sunday called Keep Away, as in keeping the ball away from Aaron Rodgers. How about we roll into Lambeau Field, hold the ball for minimum 37 minutes. They get a 23. That's advantage Vikings. And then you unleash Dalvin Cook, who, by the way, last time at Lambeau Field, he only went for one and high change and a 75-yard touchdown. Play that baby game of keep away, milk one of the best running backs in the NFL, and the Words Eye View just might lead you to an upset. Back to you.
The Words Eye View might come true. Now for our Vikings keys to victory. Ron, let's start with you. How can they get back on track against the Pack on Sunday?
Well, second down, they have to win it. Defensively, we already know you got to force them in third long. But for the offense, Kirk Cousins is ranked 20th.
Presented by Miller Lite, official beer.